Curling fans, as America's best curling teams prepare to compete on the world stage, you've come to the one place with everything you need involving USA curling. It's the Extra In podcast with Price Atkinson. Get ready for everything that you need to know. News, interviews, points of view, anything involving Team USA forming and the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea for Team USA curling is found here. It's the Extra In podcast with Price Atkinson, presented by the 12th In Sports Network.
Welcome into the Extra In podcast, another episode here with the 12th In Sports Network, powered by Isagenix. Price Atkinson, joined by Sean Murray this week, and excited to have everybody tuning in for another exciting episode as the 2017-2018 curling season underway as what we do here on the 12th In Sports Network and the Extra In podcast. We focus on our U.S. national teams and everybody getting ready for the upcoming Olympic trials in Omaha, Nebraska. But as I mentioned, Sean Murray and Price Atkins here joining you. Sean, what's happening this week, my friend? How's everything going?
Oh, everything's going just great. Was at a Bondsville this weekend in Rice Lake and won it, so feeling good. Bit of a quiet weekend for the U.S. teams this past weekend, but just keeping an eye on stuff. Always something going on.
Yeah, everybody seemed to, for the most part, the high-performance teams kind of taking a weekend off. It was kind of a quiet weekend. Everybody gets home. A lot of teams heading back out on the road. I know a couple heading over across the pond this weekend, or probably in the next couple of days to compete this weekend. But really a quiet weekend after what was kind of a busy couple weeks there to start September, as everybody starts turning the page for October.
Yeah, like you said, most of the teams were just taking it easy this weekend. The only real action was John Schuster and Cory Christensen playing at the Service Experts Mixed Doubles Classic up in Edmonton, and they did pretty well. 3-1 in their pool, made the quarters. Unfortunately, lost in the quarters to a Korean pair. But that was essentially it for U.S. teams this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say I was actually I was in a press box doing college football all day on Saturday, and I had several people look over my shoulder and they see John Schuster's Facebook Live feed broadcasting their live games there as him and Cory were playing that mixed doubles, and I had several people look at me like, what in the world are you watching? I said, dude, just go away. You don't want to know. But I thought it was cool because John did a test with his Facebook Live. I'd never seen him broadcast a spiel or a tournament live on his personal feed. So I was enjoying getting a little bit of the John Schuster Facebook Live there on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, that's a cool little thing that they were doing. I think a number of people were watching, just trying to get their early season fix. And if you were watching the U.S. teams, it was the only fix to be had.
I saw Smitty even commenting. I think Smitty was maybe doing a little scouting for him and Monica on the mixed doubles end, as he would seem to be pretty glued to what was going on there with him and Cory.
Yeah, so Smitty and John go way back. They've been friends since they were kids, basically. So he's probably equally scouting and equally trying to throw shade at him.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and let you know what we've got coming ahead on this episode of the Extra In podcast. This would be technically episode 4. So very excited and appreciate all our listeners tuning in, subscribing, wherever you are, whatever time of day it is. Bottom line, thank you for taking the time to subscribe and, more importantly, to listen to the Extra In podcast. Our featured guest interview coming up here in the next segment. We're going to go to the women's side of things here is Cory Christensen and Sarah Anderson from Team Christensen. I caught up with them just a couple weeks ago. We're going to talk with them as Cory and Sarah getting ready as the youngest team, Sean, of the Olympic trials, between Nina Roth and certainly Jamie Sinclair's rink, and then you have Cory Christensen, I guess maybe say the youthful unit, if you want to put it some kind of way.
Yeah, definitely the champions of youth on that team. I mean, Cory's just a couple of years out of juniors, and Anderson girls are too, and I think Jenna Martin's only a year older. So, I mean, none of them have even reached a quarter century, so they haven't hit the wise old years yet. But definitely youth, and they're all. I mean, they still have the experience that belies their youth.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so what we'll do also after we talk with Cory and Sarah, we'll bring you our weekly roundtable, and that'll consist of Sean Murray, myself, and then two-time Olympian Jessica Schultz. She's going to join us as, she experienced, the youth movement, so to speak, when she made her first Olympic team in 2006 when she was just in her early 20s. So we'll kind of talk about, what are maybe the realistic expectations for the youngest team on the women's side coming up at Olympic trials with Team Christensen. So Sean, Jessica, and myself, we'll get into that here coming up here on the Extra Extra podcast just a little bit later. But to make sure everybody knows how you can get us every single week, real easy, guys. Pull up your Apple Podcast app on your smartphone. Pull that Apple Podcast up, search the Extra Extra in. You'll find us right there. You can get us every single week on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and without a doubt, of course, the TESN website. That's TESN.US/podcast. And right there is where you can sign up the widget where our weekly prize contest giveaways that we'll be doing. And without a doubt, check us out on social media, on the Facebook page and Twitter for the 12th End Sports Network, which we will let you know who we got coming up each week. We'll let you know what that contest is. Just some really cool stuff that we've got all season long, Sean, here on the Extra Extra podcast. Joe and the entire team just really done a lot of hard work to get a lot of these cool giveaways, especially last week's, which was that signed Monica Walker jersey giveaway we had. All right, so when we come back, we will talk with Cory Christensen and Sarah Anderson from Team Christensen, also comprised of Taylor Anderson and Jenna Martin. We will bring you that interview here live next on the Extra Extra In podcast with the 12th End Sports Network, powered by Isogenics.
The winner of this week's Extra Extra N podcast giveaway is Karen Drumbowski. She's the winner of our Dynasty Curling Apparel hat. Thank you to Dynasty Curling Apparel for sponsoring this week's contest. The new contest is already on our website. You can click the win widget and you can have a chance to win a 50-minute mental coaching session with Shannon Walton of Ultimate Mental Edge. Just go to www.tesn.us/podcast, and you have your chance to win.
Welcome back into the Extra Extra In podcast. Price Atkinson here. Now we're sitting down with Cory Christensen and Sarah Anderson from Team Christensen. Ladies, welcome. Excited about the trials this fall. I know it's a little bit different of a year for you all.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I think we're really excited for this upcoming season.
Well, what's the summer been like for you guys? What is, as most every team we've talked to and some of the ones so far on the podcast is kind of what summer? It's just really kind of you guys turn the page from last season and immediately go into preparing for the Olympic trials.
Yeah, we didn't really have much of an off season. Obviously, it's a very, very busy year for us. I recently moved down to Minneapolis this summer to be closer to the National Training Center in Blaine and to be able to practice with the Andersons. So we've been getting out on the ice about 3 times a week, trying to as much as we can. It's been really great to not really have much of an off season. We feel really ready going into the year.
Yeah. So what's the move? How has the move been like? I mean, you come down from Duluth, you're closer to your teammates. Clearly, you're not having to travel back and forth as much.
It's
get
great.
Settled in?
It is nice. Yeah, I miss home, but it's I need to be in the cities, so it's been really great. Yeah.
Now, I understand you guys both, right, are taking a full year off school. Is that what I understand? Not a semester, but a full year. Because is that right, sir?
Yeah, that's correct. I've taken the last year off, and then this coming semester, and so has Taylor. And
we all took a few classes this summer to try and just kind of keep up a little bit, but it's going to be such a busy fall that it's just we don't have time for school. So just taking the opportunity to curl and
So was it? I mean, in a way, professional. I mean, you kind of turn pro. You put school to the side just for a little while, and now you're curling. I mean, this is what your full-time job is now to get ready for November. What do people say? Your friends, like, they obviously, your close friends know what you're doing, but like when people you don't know and you meet and they ask what you do, you say, well, I curl. Mm-hmm. What do they say? What's the reaction?
I guess a lot of people think it's cool. They, especially living in Minneapolis, people have a good idea of what curling is, and they think that's kind of a unique thing to be doing. And I think that's what we're, like, a lot of my friends, they're going to school. They are more invested in internships in the summer. And I think we're really taking this time and dedicating all this time and effort and really going all in for the trials this fall. Yeah,
absolutely. So what are you studying in school? I mean, what are you guys choosing to do? I mean, you're putting it on hold, but what are y'all focusing on school and, career after school?
Sarah and I are actually both in the same undergraduate major at the University of Minnesota. We're both in kinesiology, and then I want to go on to physical therapy.
Okay. Well, we're talking with Sarah Anderson and Cory Christensen, certainly part of Team Christensen, along with Taylor Anderson, your sister, and then what was formerly Jenna Haig, but now Jenna Martin, who just recently got married. So you guys haven't been in the high-performance program that long, the youngest team. What's the program been like for you guys?
I feel like we kind of grew up with it in our late teenage years, moving into now being in our young 20s, that it's really developed with us growing up in it. And the longer we've been in it now, the more that sports psych and in the gym has really ramped up. And that's developed greatly in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Cory?
Yeah, I think we just feel really lucky to have the coaching support and all the staff with the USCA. I mean, it's been huge in developing our team. We feel really lucky to be a part of it. And I just think that it's great for us to be here in Omaha and get ready for the trials. That'll be huge for us with it being our first time playing in an Olympic trials. This is a great way for us to get comfortable with the venue and kind of what it's going to be like.
Yep. All right, Cory, as a 4-time junior national champion, did you expect to have this much success, going from juniors now to where you are, to have this much success this quickly?
Not really, I guess, but it's been really great. I mean, I'm lucky to have really awesome teammates, and we've had a lot of success, and I think that kind of started with the silver medal that we got at Worlds in Denmark a couple years ago. After that, it was kind of like, wow, we can compete at a world level, and we can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I just enjoy watching you guys play, back at Nationals, you guys got so much youth, you got so much energy, and the high fives, the emotion on the ice. Talk about the team dynamic. Also, obviously, your sister Taylor and Jenna, the four of you guys seem like you just have a ton of fun out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just we're a team that, we really enjoy each other's company on and off the ice, and I think that shows in how we play together. Just having such a good friendships, it's honestly so much fun playing.
Yeah.
I think we have great teammates, and I think that shows in our chemistry and our trust with each other.
Yeah.
And we like to have fun, and we play better when it's light and we're having a good time.
Who's the one that keeps it light? Who's the one that's cracking the jokes? And it seems like all you guys really smile.
It is kind of a group effort, yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say Sarah does most of the talking, and Jenna's good for a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
She throws those one-liners in there that gets us.
Yeah, when I watch other teams play, everybody channels their energy, especially negatively, sometimes different. Slamming brooms and sometimes getting loud. But you guys seem to channel it in a different way. Am I right? Am I wrong?
That's one thing that we've talked about a lot. Is we're not a team that wants to show our emotions, because that doesn't help us. That doesn't help what we're trying to do. So. Yeah, kind of like leaning on each other. We have a lot of trust within our team, and leaning on each other when we're having a bad game is kind of what we go to, as opposed to...
Yeah. As we continue with Cory Christensen, skip of Team Christensen, and Sarah Anderson, vice skip here, and, you're the more talkative of the two between you and your sister. Everybody tells me that. The coaches tell me that, and I hear it right here. So are you the one that lobbies? You're obviously the vice skip, but everybody has, a hand in, decision calls. But it's Cory's ultimate decision as the skip. But are you the one that, all right, I'm the more talkative one. I'm the vice. I'm the one that can maybe convince Cory, let's try another one. Let's go with something different. Are you the one that has the lobbying power?
Yeah, I think, when the three of us, the front end and I, are down at the other end, we'll all kind of discuss, Jenna, what do you think here, and get Taylor's input, and I'll relay that to Cory. I think that's why our communication is really good, is that they are, like, our front end is giving opinions on the strategy too, and I think Cory and I have a really good conversation out there. It's really, like, back and forth, and it's nice.
Cory, do you ever feel like they're you got two of them. I mean, you got twins on your team. Do you ever feel like
ganging up on me?
Did you feel like they gang up on you every now and then? Say, Jenna, get over here. I need help. Help.
No, it's great. I mean, we've talked about how Sarah's a really good kind of mediator between the front end and the back end. She relays the information and lots of talking, and I need that. To give me confidence and see what the team wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sarah, you got a lot of sisters. What is the curling? I'm sure. I mean, you all are really competitive. What is the curling like inside the Anderson household? How really competitive is it truly?
I think it's more not only just competitive in curling, but competitive in all aspects of our lives.
Yeah.
We'll sit around the dinner table, and I don't think we can have a conversation that doesn't lead somehow to curling.
Uh-huh.
But I think we're very competitive, and I think that's what we grew up playing together, playing against each other, which has been really fun growing up with four sisters.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of family real quick before we, kind of get ready for, what's coming up in November and, preparation, but, what's the role like your dad? I know your dad is really close to you guys. And what has he played the role? How has he played a role in your development?
I think I owe a lot to my dad and my mom. Like, my parents have really supported me so much, and all my sisters in everything through life. And my dad has taught me so much growing up, and he taught all my sisters, and have still today, I'll call him a couple times a week, and he always is asking, like, how practice is going, and he's always just, really not only, like, with curling, but just with, like, support emotionally, has just been great.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Cory, you guys is the three high performance teams. I mean, you guys are clearly the youngest, but do you feel like sometimes maybe an underdog because y'all are younger and not far removed from juniors, or do you feel no, this is even Steven, we're all three equal, but do you sometimes feel like maybe an underdog out there?
Sometimes, but I think even our last year of juniors, we were playing mostly women's events. I think we only did maybe 2 junior events, so it really wasn't that big of a transition for us into women. So it does feel like we've been competing against these teams for many years now. So it hasn't felt too much like an underdog.
Yeah. All right. As you guys, get ready to prepare here for the trials, really the first run at this thing together, first trials, if you imagine, you've watched it on TV, you've been in the sport for all your life. What have you thought about this? A lot of pressure, taking it like just any other competition. What's this experience going to be like for you guys competing in trials for the first time?
I think, how we've put school on hold, and all 4 of us have really dedicated this last 2 years to this goal. We're really going into it knowing that, with no regrets, that we've done everything we can to be at the best ability we can be. And really, what do we have to lose, right? It's our first Olympic trials. And I think, I feel like right now we're feeling great on the ice in the gym, and I think we are going to treat it like any other competition and, play the stones out there and play our game and hopefully have some good games.
Yeah, Cory?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think we just need to trust the process. We've put in, so much work. We've put our lives on hold for this, and we're ready, and we just have to believe it. And we know we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it did Nationals, I know it didn't go the way you guys wanted it to. You wanted to make the playoffs. You just barely miss out. Has that given you guys any extra motivation? It was a long time ago. That was back in February. But, knowing that you guys can play so much better, has that given you all a little bit of an extra drive through the summer and through the fall here, prepare?
Yeah, like I said, we didn't have much of an off season this year. The Andersons, I know, I didn't move down to the cities until about May, but the Andersons were right back on the ice pretty much right after Nationals, practicing every day.
Yep.
So it's been busy.
And I know Nationals didn't go as we wanted, but, there was so much to learn from Nationals. I think we've especially been working a lot with Carly Anderson with our sports psych, and just with Phil Dropnik, just really taking what we can from that Nationals and really improving our game from there. So,
what is it like having Coach Phil on your team? Because the Phil swag, I get the biggest kick out of when he's, you call a timeout or even it's before a game, and he just waltzes down. He's got that. He's got that sway, that swag that he's I always enjoy. What is it like playing with Coach Phil?
It's been great. I mean, prior to nationals, we didn't have a whole lot of experience working with Phil, but I mean, like you said, we like the lighthearted aura that he has. And like that's when we play our best is when we're out laughing, and we before games, before practices, sit there with him, and he just like makes us laugh all the time, and it's perfect for our team. He fits so well.
Yeah, it seems like Phil. You said it, the fit. I mean, I don't think you could find another coach. Maybe you probably could if you tried, but he just seems like there is no better fit for you guys. A guy that is a lot like you all, fun, light, loves to smile, loves to joke.
Yep.
All right, as we get ready to wrap this thing up here on the Extra Extra podcast, Cory Christensen and Sarah Anderson. What will success look like for you guys at nationals? At trials. I know you're coming to win. You're not coming here for anything but knowing it's the first run through this for you guys. I know you're not tempering expectations, but what will define success for you all at the trials in Omaha?
I think defining success, of course, people look at it as winning the trials. I think defining success is knowing that we've played our best. We are mentally strong, we are physically strong, and we're just playing our game and being confident in what we have. And if we do all that, hopefully we come out on top. But that's what,
like we said, going into the trials, we wanted to just put everything in, and when we're done with the week, know that we gave it our all. And hopefully it works out in our favor. But if it doesn't, I mean, we gave it our all.
Yeah. Now you guys were in Omaha back in August for Team USA camp, getting a run of the ice, getting to throw the stones, check out the ice, the building. What was the facility like, and what was Omaha like? As you having been there, I'm sure that gives you something to visualize. Having been on that same ice and arena where you're going to be competing.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we were pleasantly surprised by Omaha. It's a great city. We found some really good restaurants to eat at, had a lot of fun, and it's just a beautiful arena. And being able to go there and get comfortable with the locker rooms and the ice and the lights and everything, it's just going to be huge for us when we arrive at the trials.
All right, a couple things on the way out the door. Let's have a little fun. Who gets to pick the music when you guys are on road trips and you guys are vanning it? Who's the one that gets to be the DJ in the car and in the van?
Lately, it's been Taylor.
Yeah.
What is she usually picking? What's her music of choice?
So we drove down to Omaha around 7:30 in the morning. First song comes on is a heavy rap song. Can we please play some country?
Sarah and I like the country.
Yeah, definitely.
A little bit easier way to start a day.
Yeah.
When you kind of just smooth into a little country music as opposed to going just right out of the gate with some rap. All right, what do you guys? What's your guilty pleasure? What do you like to watch on TV? Is it The Bachelor? Is it reality TV? What's y'all's guilty pleasure? Whether it's TV or not, what's your guilty pleasure?
Ice cream.
Yeah, we love ice cream on our team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something that obviously people that watch curling on television and see the web stream and read about you guys, what's something that they may not know about Sarah Anderson and Cory Christensen?
Throwing us hard questions now.
Yeah.
And you can spill the beans. It's okay.
I guess off the ice.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit into art.
Okay.
And I guess I don't really talk about that when I'm at curling events.
Yeah.
But, I really like going to museums, and I like drawing, and it's kind of a fun hobby.
Yeah. Cory?
Oh, gosh.
Come on, you guys are young. You love to have fun. What do you love to go out and do?
Lake life with Sam.
Lake life?
I have a cabin up north of Duluth, so I try to get up there as much as I can in the summer. And, I like hiking, camping, being outside.
Jet skiing, wakeboarding, anything like that?
I like to water ski, but my mom tells me no because I can't get hurt.
Well, ladies, just appreciate you guys joining us here. Sarah Anderson, Cory Christensen from Team Christensen, certainly rounding out your team, Jenna Martin, and your sister, Taylor Anderson. Ladies, thank you so much for a few minutes here, and we wish you guys all the best coming up at trials in November.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, we'll be right back here on the Extra Extra In podcast. You tried different weight loss programs and are still looking for results? I was too until I found Isagenix, and it didn't take long before I started getting the results that I wanted. Isagenix is a complete 9-day or 30-day weight loss, energy, performance, and health aging program. With over 550,000 customers in 7 countries, Isagenix's science-backed ingredients and products are rigorously tested for safety and will help boost your weight loss efforts by gently cleansing and nourishing your body. Isagenix's cleansing and fat-burning system has helped me relieve daily stress and given me even more energy to play with my kids from sun up to sundown. Every day and every week, I'm coming across and meeting a friend of mine that is also an Isagenix customer. My personal Isagenix associate, Sarah Schuster, helped me take control of my health and, most importantly, my life. Sarah walked me through the entire process, answered every question, and most importantly, serves as my personal daily cheerleader. And she can do the same and more for you. Give Sarah a call with the keyword curling at 218-391-1566, and she'll waive your 1-year membership fee. Stop making excuses and start taking control. Let Sarah get you started on a healthier life at 218-391-1566. Isagenix did it for me, and it can do it for you. All right, welcome back into the Extra In with the 12th Inning Sports Network, powered by Isagenix. And, man, we're getting ready for our weekly roundtable. Price Atkinson. We got my man Sean Murray, 12th Inning Sports Network commentator. But now, for the first time, 2-time Olympian Jessica Schultz joins us here on the roundtable to dive into an array of topics. Jess, welcome in to the Extra In podcast for the very first time.
Hi, Price. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to have you. So before we get into everything that we are going to get into, right, Sean, what are you up to right now, Jess? You got a lot of things going on. What's happening in the world of Jessica Schultz in the Twin Cities?
Oh, my goodness. Right now, I am actually enjoying a little downtime. Mm-hmm. I just finished a bachelor's degree with a focus on small business management. So I'm just kind of reveling in actually having spare time and hanging out with the dog and playing around the house. But as well as I also have side projects going on and kind of getting into work and focusing on my career a little bit more at the moment. So that's been fun.
Well, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
When you get that degree in hand and that paper, that is quite a special moment. Sometimes it takes people longer than others, shorter than others. For me, it was a little bit longer, but the bottom line is you get across the finish line, and for that we say absolutely congratulations, Jess.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without actually DeVry University's partnership with the U.S. Olympic Committee and USA Curling. So it was a pretty exciting opportunity to receive that and get through it. Yeah, now I feel like an adult and I can go out and take on the world.
You feel like an adult.
Finally at last, right?
Finally at last.
All right, well, let's dive into everything we got, because earlier we just talked to Cory Christensen and Sarah Anderson, and as we get ready for the Olympic trials coming up in Omaha, we obviously have 3 teams on the women's side, and Cory, Team Christensen, that's the youth movement of this, of the trials. They are the youngest with Cory, Sarah, Taylor, and Jenna. I mean, they're all, I believe, 23 and younger. So, I mean, you've been in this position, where you were young when you went to your first Olympics. The situation, the trials, and how you qualify was different, but kind of talk about, being the youthful team getting ready to go up against, Nina and Jamie in Omaha.
Yeah, I think as a younger team, you're kind of coming in as the underdogs already. But to Cory and Sarah's credit, they have a ton of experience going into this event, and they've had a lot of resources available to them, and have a lot of great experiences and success on an international and national level. For us, when we won with Cassie, we were kind of the new team, and we were coming through. We didn't quite expect to win, and so we just went in and gave it our all, and ended up came to a draw to the button in an extra end against Debbie McCormick's team, and we were beside ourselves. And I think during that moment, you know what you're playing for, you know what the outcome is when you win, but I don't think you fully understand the weight of it and what the pressure is going to be like at that time. Like you're just out there playing, you're playing fearless, and you have all this these experienced teams, these higher level teams that have been doing it for years. So you're a little more nervous that way. And you're kind of starstruck at the same time. Maybe not as much in Cory's situation because they've been playing against each other for the last few years, and it seems like they always beat each other. But like for me, coming in to play against Debbie McCormick, who I always kind of looked up to, was just a different way of looking at it, I guess, back then. But yeah, I think Cory's team definitely has a chance at this. It's kind of any team's thing to go out and win right now.
Yeah, Sean, hop in here. One of the things here, guys, is when you look at what Cory and her team is, I don't want to say up against, because they're not up against any kind of mountain. I mean, they have experienced all kinds of success at the junior level. And if you get hot and just make shots, look, I mean, there's nothing that you're up against in terms of any kind of mountain. This is something that's right there for the taking. So, but I guess when you look at it, in terms of the youth that they've got, there's no question about it. Let's call it what it is. They are not the favorite. I think you look at it as co-favorites between Nina and Jamie. But this is not out of the realm and unrealistic in any shape or form that they could come in and get this thing done and find themselves in the Olympic Games.
When you've only got 3 teams playing and it's a double round robin, it really can be anybody's game.
Yeah.
And, these 3 teams have spent the last 2 years beating up on each other. And I don't know specific win-loss records, but, they're basically even. Whoever is peaking at the right time, is making the right shots at the right time, that's the team that's going to end up representing us in Korea. And it could be any one of these. They've had slightly different seasons to this point. Cory's team has played in 3 events so far. They were the semifinalists at the BioSteel Hopeville Fall Classic. But before that, they played at the Stu Cells, only won 1 game, and they were 2-2 at the Shorty. So they've kind of had what they might call an okay season so far. But I'm sure they'd like to ramp it up and get things going. And one of the other considerations here is that whichever team goes out of these 3, it's going to be all the players' first Olympic Games. And I think that's going to introduce a different dynamic of pressure to every athlete in this field, whatever experience they've had, just knowing what is at the end of the road. And, either pressure makes you better or it makes you fold. And that's what we're going to be seeing unfold in Omaha in just a couple of months now.
Yeah, Jess, is the pressure something that you take into account? I mean, you were there in, 2006? Clearly it was a different path with the way you guys got to the Olympics in 2006 in Torino. But, the pressure of, is it one of those things where you get into that vacuum and you just, you don't even realize the pressure, you're just going to get the job done? Or, coming into this thing maybe now where it's a little bit different and, in a way, do you feel that pressure more with a more younger and youthful team, or is it the advantage where, the pressure, you don't know, what you don't know can't hurt you?
Yeah, I think as a younger team, there's a little bit of pressure there, but for some reason you don't feel the pressure as much as maybe some of the older teams that are, let's say Nina, would be feeling when they put in so much more time into the sport. It's kind of hard to compare the 2 trials just because ours, when we went, we win nationals, then you go right to worlds, and then you had a year you automatically become the Olympic team. So it's just a little different mindset going through that process than going through the double round robin and knowing you get a second chance at winning at winning against some of the teams that you might not have had a strong enough game against. So knowing that it's going to be okay to miss a couple shots here and there, and then if you don't win that game, you can always hopefully go out and play better and win the next one. So that's the advantage, I guess, for the double round robin. And then, yeah, it's hard. Like I said, it's just hard to put into words the kind of pressure that you feel at that age compared to when you're older. I remember sitting, 9th and 10th end, we're like, holy crap, Maureen and I are talking. We're like, we're going in to do an extra end in the Olympic trials, in the game of the Olympic trials to go to the Olympics, and then all of a sudden my whole body was just started shaking and I was vibrating and I could barely drink water. Like I remember people pointing at me behind the glass because I couldn't even drink out of my water bottle because my whole body was shaking. And I was just so thankful that I wasn't in Cassie's position to throw that draw, that all I had to try to do was not oversweep it.
Yeah.
So
what was,
I guess.
Was that moment, that moment right there, was that more intense, more pressure, everything combined than when you got to the Olympic Games? Because, as they say, making it's half the battle, and clearly you don't want to just get to the Olympics, you want to win a medal, but when you could taste it, it was on the cusp. Was that more pressure than you felt when you got to the Olympic Games?
That's a very good question. I think that was actually the most pressure that we felt to get there. And then once you become the Olympic team, then you're the Olympic team, right? You get all these great things. You're going one way or the other. Your media's pulling you all these different directions. People Magazine wants interviews with you. So you have all those excitements. And then you're getting to the Olympics and it's bright lights, it's shiny, everything's free. There's free pop and vending machines like right as you walk down. It was so cool. You walk into your room and there's a Nike bag full of free stuff. And it was unbelievable. And, you're walking through opening ceremonies and people are cheering you on, and then you just get like this whole other form of emotion going on, between excitement and pressure and just all these emotions that it's hard to put into words. But I didn't feel the pressure at that during those games. I don't think. Obviously we were frustrated, we were doing terrible, and we weren't playing up to what we were hoping to play at our level. We won silver in 2005, so we were playing similar teams going into the 2006 Olympics, and we obviously had hopes of winning or getting a medal, and we just didn't get there. So then we just felt the heartbreak pretty much, pretty close to right away. If you win 4 or 5 games or lose 4 or 5 games in a row, that kind of puts you down pretty quickly. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the media is not there anymore and you're wondering what's going on.
You're like, come on, what, do I smell bad? What is it about me, guys? Come on. I'm still the same player. Jeez.
Do I need a shower?
Oh man. Sean, when you take a look and you look at this team and you see, and Jessica, hop in here too, because you've competed against them, for a while, but just from watching this team, they have a lot of energy, they've got a lot of passion, but Cory, when I watch her skip a team and I watch her on the ice, I love the competitiveness I see. Forget the broom slamming, but missing a shot. You can see. She and everybody handles it in a different way, but you can see the fire and the fierceness. At least I do, plain as day in Cory Christensen, and I love it.
Well, there's no doubt. Anyone that's watched her compete for any length of time knows that she's got the fire, but I also think that she possesses one of the intangibles that a skip at her level absolutely has to be successful, and that's the ability to park any bad shots. And I've seen that while broadcasting. I've seen it while running the camera. I've seen it just watching in a tournament at St. Paul or whatever. Nobody makes every shot, obviously, but might have one shot go awry, hit and roll out, it's a draw, whatever, and it'll be just 2 seconds of that sucked, and just body language, and it's gone. Yeah. And she's had that for years, and she had the success that she had in juniors, I think largely because of that. She played in 3 straight World Juniors from 2014, 2016, and went from 6th to losing the tiebreaker to silver. And there's she's just got what it takes to skip at that level. But again, I'm still curious as to what the pressure may bring out. It may elevate her to another level that maybe even she doesn't know is possible yet.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a possibility. But I think Pierce said it correctly. I think how you explain or define her, she's fierce. and she's passionate, and you can feel that when you're on the ice with her. And we played them at nationals this year, and that was the first time I've been able to play against those girls on a couple of actually we played them on tour as well. But you can just tell how she wants to play and she wants to win. And if she, obviously if it's not going her way, you can kind of feel that a little bit, which could, like Sean said, that it'll be interesting to see how it plays out at the trials. But at the same time, she's been in high pressure situations before, and she's been able to handle herself and carry her team.
Yeah, as we continue with Sean Murray and two-time Olympian Jessica Schultz, one of these things, like you mentioned, Jess, the pressure and having been there before, does the pedigree of being a four-time, U.S. junior national champion, going to play at the at the World Juniors several times, does that pedigree and having, granted it's only at the junior level, I get that, but the fact that she's had success at the highest level at where she's been, still at the young age, does that pedigree, do you think, does that play in, to certainly if not the immediate future, but certainly the long-term future of Cory Christensen, and Sarah, Taylor, and Jenna?
Definitely. I mean, it plays into the confidence level of the player. If you can look back and see your successes and kind of relive those moments, that's going to help, propel you forward.
Sean?
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, there's no substitute for international experience, whether it's at a World Juniors or World Men's or what have you. And she's definitely got it. I mean, I think she's at least a four-time junior champion, if not five. I'm not completely sure about that, but there's no question that she's got the experience already. Still kind of looking for that first breakthrough on the women's side, but she's been to a couple of junior nationals and women's nationals, and has been kind of right, just a little below the absolute top, but has always been right there and has always challenged the big teams. And like I said, still waiting for that kind of big breakthrough into the top, which is, kind of the same position that Cassie and team were in 2006. And you know what happened there.
Yeah. So Cory Christensen and Team Christensen heading to Stockholm, the Stockholm Ladies Cup this weekend. Coach Drobnik, they're setting sail here across the pond to take part in that this coming weekend. But so when you look at it, guys, both you guys, hop in here and weigh in. When you look at Cory's team and you look at the way this thing is setting up, I mean, and you handicap the women's side, of Olympic trials, how do you see this thing? I don't want to, get predictions now, but I mean, where do you see Cory's team fitting in? Would this be an upset if they were to go in there and win this thing and go to the Olympics? Is this one of those things where, they're obviously trying to get their feet wet? They've never been in the Olympic trials before, just want to go and account themselves well. Just tell me, what do you think in your minds, guys? What do you think success is? And I'm not trying to shortchange them by saying, not making the Olympics is good, but a bit humor me here, because obviously a very, very young team.
I would say, well, as I said earlier, it's only a 3-team field and double round robin. Really anything can happen. I mean, any one of these 3 teams would be fantastic representatives. I do think it goes without saying that, probably fewer people would expect them to win than either Sinclair or Roth, simply because of the experience factor. Roth's been to a women's worlds as a skip. Team hasn't started off they haven't played that much yet this year. But she's been around the national scene for a long time and is one of the best in the business. And then, on the other side, you got Team Sinclair, who has started this season absolutely red hot.
Yeah.
They're semifinalists at the Tier 2 Slam. They won the Shorty Jenkins. And, I mean, you almost can't ask for a better start. So they're definitely getting on fire. But, I don't think anybody would be surprised to see Christensen win. I wouldn't exactly call them – I don't think I would call them the favorite here.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Jess?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Sean. I don't know I don't think there's really one favorite going into the trials. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, Jamie's team has been hot, and so maybe you can say that maybe she's a little more favored, but I wouldn't say that it would be an upset if Cory was to win, just given these girls' history between the three teams of playing against each other. They all seem to beat each other, and they've all been working really hard to improve and get better and be competitive at this level. And so, no, I don't think it would be considered an upset at all, and I don't think it'd be considered an upset to Cory at all in her mind, because they deserve and earn this right to be there. And so, yeah, it's any team could win there.
Yeah, and which is why I think it's just going to be just an awesome, couple days, week in Omaha, just to watch the way this thing's going to play out. I just cannot wait for it. It's going to be just a lot of fun. But, before we get out the door and wrap this thing up here on our weekly roundtable of the Extra N, just cannot thank Sean Murray and Jessica Schultz enough. Jess, hit us up right now. What's going on with your Athletes Original Rock Life? You got, I was checking it out a couple days ago over the weekend. You got some really cool stuff there online. Even more products. I mean, I've got 2 of your T-shirts in my drawer downstairs, but now you got mugs, you got backpacks, you got all kinds of crazy cool things coming in the dine-in, takeout, the get some stone. Just some really cool items there online at athletesoriginal.com. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's awesome what I've been working with Athlete Originals. So my design is Rock Life for a given reason. Obviously, curling is involved with that, but there's tons of different designs. Great. We just changed all of our fabrics and our products. So the T-shirts are way better. They fit more comfortably. We have sweatshirts. We have crew necks and polos and tank tops and onesies, and then recently, we just added hats. So get out there, get your ball cap, or it's getting cold out there, so you can get your toque to warm up your head. But get on there, check it out. If you don't check out my stuff, check out all the other athletes that are on there as well. I think it's really cool. And like I said, you can design your own shirt. You pick the logo that you want, and then you pick your colors and background and all that fun stuff. So there's even cell phone covers. The mugs are great. My dad loves his coffee cup.
I bet he does, with that Jessica Schultz logo on it.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can only think, Sean, the only 2 guys I knew, certainly I know the toques I'm sure are popular for Jess at Rock Life, but you and Smitty are the ones I could see totally rocking the Rock Life toque from Athletes Original.
Yeah, I can always rock a good hat or a toque, especially when I get a fresh buzz. My head gets awfully cold when that happens.
Well,
there you go. I'll set you up with one there, Sean.
Oh, all right.
Man, I'm jealous of you guys here in the Twin Cities, where I hope fall has come a little bit early. It still was 92, 94 degrees here in South Carolina just the other day. I'm jealous because, fall weather there in the Twin Cities, but having the kind of ice you guys have at St. Paul, at Four Seasons, and Chaska, I see the photos all the time. I'm like, man, just take me away to Minnesota, please. Just somebody take me so I can hang out and enjoy the fall weather, guys.
Come on over, Price. I just actually found out yesterday that there's an arena club going in close to my backyard. So we're going to have 6 actually in the area.
Oh, do tell.
That's right,
Can you give any detail?
Richfield, isn't it?
Richfield. Mm-hmm.
Wow. How's that?
So they're going to start. I just talked to the lady that's organizing it. So they're going to start on arena ice so that they can show that the community, that there's an interest in the community. And then as the Olympic year progresses and everything, and we get more interest in it, we want to build an actually designated club with a bar and grill.
Man, how about that? You got 6 clubs there in the Twin Cities? Do I have my numbers right? Is it 6?
That would be it.
6, and we've got 1 sheet. Well, I guess I should amend that. 2 sheets of ice here in the entire state of South Carolina, 1.5 that has curling ice, and that's my club here at the Palmetto Curling Club in Greenville, South Carolina. Jealous as hell, but guys, it's been a lot of fun here on the weekly roundtable, the Extra and podcast. Just cannot thank our man Sean Murray, and certainly our good friend Jessica Schultz, 2-time Olympian. Can't wait to have you back again, Jess, this season as we get ready for those Olympic trials in Omaha.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Bryce.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We'll be right back here to close up shop here on the Extra Extra End. When we come back. All right, welcome back into the Extra Extra End podcast with the 12th End Sports Network, powered by Isogenics. Wrapping this thing up, Sean. Been a great episode here. Just another lot of fun talking USA curling as we get ready, for November in Omaha. But this week, we feature Cory Christensen and Sarah Anderson, the youth movement taking center stage in Nebraska. Great conversation with them, and certainly a great roundtable with Jessica Schultz as we dive into, just kind of some of the challenges in the youth movement, facing Cory, playing against, I don't want to say veteran, I'd say veteran with Nina, but, Jamie Sinclair's team's still a little bit on the youthful side as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, all the athletes in the field are, relatively speaking, fairly young,
yeah.
But one of the other things is that whoever wins the trials is going to be going to their first Olympics.
Yeah.
So there's going to be pressure put on these teams that I don't know if any of them have ever really had to deal with, and that I think it's going to be a very exciting event. Yeah,
I can't wait. But, just really thank all our listeners for tuning in this week. Next week, we will talk with Team Heater McCormick, the skip himself, and then Corey Dropkin. So we will bring you that next week here on the Extra Extra End podcast. Also, we will dive into our roundtable with Jerry Gertz. We'll have him back and talk about several things as we get ready and, basically open up the month of October next week. I can't believe we're almost into October, but appreciate all our sponsors here this week on the Extra Extra End podcast. We can't do it without them. Certainly our title sponsor, Isogenics, certainly Hardline, Expedia. Appreciate everybody stepping up to help us out, bring you the 12th End Sports Network's podcast of the Extra Extra End every single week that you can get on Thursdays, a brand new episode every Thursday. Sign up, subscribe, free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Right there on your Apple Podcast app on your smartphone, Sean, your iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and certainly if you want to go to the 12th End Sports Network, TESN.US /podcast. We got everything right there. It could not be easier to find us, Sean.
Yep. Sign up, listen. Never know. You might win something.
That's exactly right. You very well might win something, and that's half the battle. You can't get in it. You can't win it if you don't get in it. All right, let's go ahead and put a bow on this thing, Sean. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks to everybody, the 12th End Sports Network and the Extra Extra Ed podcast powered by Isogenics. We'll be right back here again next week. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks for being with us on this edition of the Extra Extra End podcast with Price Atkinson. Follow Price and the 12th End Sports Network crew on Twitter and Facebook to stay up on our weekly contests, giveaways, and guests for upcoming episodes of the Extra Extra End podcast, powered by Isogenics.